Good job. So do you guys have a lot of fun in class?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to play games?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Some Dolce. That's
Unicorns?
Jude, what do you like to play with Miss B?
I like to play Kaylin Bingo. My favorite thing about Mrs. Johnson is that she's nice and she does fun projects with me. I like Mrs. Weber because she's very kind and she does fun crafts. I like Mrs. Roberts because she's nice and she makes up good songs. What about I love of my teacher is reading to us and telling us what to do.
I love Mrs. Hill because if I struggle on words, she can help me. And I like Mrs. Hill because we get to do fun art projects.
I like Miss Langamo because she's very nice and she does funny projects and she does funny callbacks. The thing I like most about Miss Peterson is she's nice, she's kind, she jokes around, she helps me when I need it, and that's what I like about Miss Peterson. I like Mrs. Moore because she's kind and she always checks up on everyone.
I like Miss Holbrook because she's very smart. She helps us with our work.
Thank you, Mrs. Kelly, for being kind and pushing us to our best and being helpful.
I like Miss Treble because she lets us play fun games on Friday and she's nice.
I like Miss Kelly because she's organized and she keeps us on task.
Hi, I like Mrs. Steele because she always tries to teach us the most and she makes learning fun.
I like Miss Warren because she pushes us to do our best and she's very helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw, for all you do. I love it when you make your funniest jokes and you do fun science experiments with us. Thank you.
Mrs. Steiner is nice and she helps me with reading.
Miss Salinger helps us with speech and she does fun activities with us.
I like Mr. K because he's a good gym teacher and he's a good football coach.
One thing that I like about Mrs. Duval is how she does fun stuff with us and she came up with a great play and she's always nice and she does nice stuff and fun stuff for us.
I appreciate Mrs. Bope because of how personal she is with her learning and how she pushes students to their best abilities.
I appreciate Mrs. Neer because she's able to adapt information to each student and their interests, and I love how she was able to jump into a new environment without any fears.
I appreciate that Miss McGuire always listens to my questions and helps me out with everything.
I like how energetic Mr. Peterson is.
I appreciate Mrs. Marodi because she brings a lot of energy to the class and she's always nice and helpful when you ask for help. She's very kind and she lets you do your work.
I appreciate how Mrs. Hyenga always helps us with our work.
Hello, Mr. Miller. I love learning about U.S. history. I find it very interesting and I love your class. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
I appreciate Mrs. Hafke because you can tell how much she cares about her students and she's always willing to help kids outside of class.
Hey Queen Makani, thank you for always being the best science teacher and making learning fun and easy, and all of us wish you and your baby the best of luck.
I appreciate Mr. Schneider because I like how he explains different math problems to me, and I like his new haircut.
I appreciate Ms. Sheeler because she's very flexible and personable and allows students to learn in an environment that best suits them.
I appreciate how he talks about sports and is cool.
Thank you, Mrs. VP, for being so sweet and always willing to help.
I appreciate Mrs. Grimlow because she inspires me to do my best in and out of the classroom.
I appreciate Miss Kukowski because she is the most understanding person that I got to know. She makes my day every single time I have classes with her. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate Miss Cameron because she makes our classes so much fun and she's just a fun teacher in general.
I appreciate Ms. Johnson because she's an awesome teacher and DIC advisor.
Hey Ms. Coons, you are very funny and I appreciate how helpful you are in the classroom.
I appreciate Mr. Marquette because he always makes us laugh.
I like Mrs. Wirtz and I appreciate her because she always has a smile on her face whenever we come into class, and she always notices if something's wrong with us, and she also takes care of us when we're sick.